wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
WESN.
This is 10 Questions. Welcome to the program. I'm Andy Johnson. Let's tell you what's happening in this edition. We expect to be joined by Ms. Andreina Bersenio. She's the Venezuelan lady who's been working, I was going to say like hell, in Arima. She's based in Arima at a facility called La Casita. And she and her organization have been helping Venezuelan migrants in Trinidad and Tobago get settled and get registered in accordance with what the government is seeking. She's promising to talk with us about that, the work that is taking place to register Venezuelan migrants in Trinidad and Tobago. La Casita. But with us in the studio at the moment, somebody who is nothing if he's not an advocate for road safety. Let's read what he has put out here. Mr. Stanislaus Huggins, a National Road Safety Creed, Nation Drivers Company Limited, that's his company. A national road safety program is driven by a set of beliefs that the people of our nation are a vulnerable group, that safety training will broaden safety awareness, instill safety values, and reduce potential fatalities. It is also believed that vibrant community councils will be worthy vehicles in delivering good safety practices. These practices will also be passed on through corporate groups, such as taxi drivers, taxi groups, and the mass media. By this creed, the life of our people will be prolonged, and the nation will become more sensitive to safety issues and experience fewer traumas on our roads. Mr. Huggins, good to see you.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this. You say we are one of the few countries anywhere in the world that doesn't have a road safety creed.
You're correct, Andy. And the purpose is we have to educate our nation. And a creed is a belief. In the Christian world, you have the Apostle Creed and you have the Nicene Creed. They say these creeds every time they have service. Let's put it away, Mass, they put it that way. And what happens is that this was created in 2004. I wrote this.
Idea of a creed? Or you mean your...
Yeah, this creed.
Yeah, okay.
And it was written in 2004. But the idea is to change our thinking and to have a belief that safety training is absolutely necessary. That is what this was written about. And we haven't implemented it. So I decided that this should go in every school book bag so that we should inform them that there is a creed and road safety means serious business. As we speak now, Andy, we are crossing on the green light.
You're doing what?
We are crossing on the green light. The light is on green and there's no way crossing. And I don't know if we're colorblind. I really don't know.
When you say we are crossing on the green light, what do you mean?
You're crossing the street.
You mean
when the
like
light
pedestrians?
Is on, yeah, when the light is on green.
Yeah, which means that a traffic could flow. So people
Yes.
walking into the traffic.
Yes. And this is happening if you go like in San Juan by the Cuisine. I refer to as the jaywalking capital of the world. Because we
Crazy?
Yeah, the crazy. We're crossing all on the green light. The light is on green, and no, we're crossing. And that's why I use the expression, are we colorblind? That is what it is. And if we don't fix this thing now, and fix the next generation, because 30 years makes a generation on road safety, we'll be in a serious mess. That is my position.
More serious than we are now?
It will get worse. Because why? We have a young population in Trinidad, a young population. And they were never taught anything but road safety. In my day, the education was what? Look up and look down. That was the education. And you go on your way. That's when we had a few cars on the public road. Now we have about 1-point-something million cars on the public road. And we don't have an effective road safety education to deal with our problems. And what I recognize is that young people do what they see older people do. And they believe that is the norm. The problem in this country, Andy, is not so much young people, but there's older people passing on the bad values in this country when it comes to road safety. To fix it, let's go back to education. Because an educated driver is a better driver. An educated passenger is a better passenger.
When you say educated, you mean in terms of road safety?
Yes. Is a better driver. An educated pedestrian is a better pedestrian. And we will have good road users. That is what it is.
But don't we have all the rules and all the sanctions, what we should or shouldn't do, whether as a pedestrian or vehicle driver? Don't we have that?
I don't think that that was explained to in our school system. That wasn't part. It is not part of the educational system. Whereas when you go to the United States and Canada and Australia, they started teaching road safety from grade 5 because they know when you reach 18 years, you want to drive. They know that. So they think futuristic on educating you so that we will reduce the carnage on our public roads.
So what is, let's say Canada, what is the Canadian equivalent to this?
Well, it is similar. It is similar. But I did something for our culture, our needs, and create this national road safety grade. That is what I did. And put it in print and publish it. And my feeling is that the Ministry of Education, the school system, should adopt something to deal with our youngsters in schools.
Here's my difficulty, and I imagine that that is the case with people out there listening to or watching this broadcast, and then people with whom you would interact on it. I thought a creed was something that you would say, I, Andrew Johnson, henceforth believe so and so and so and so and so, and I will treat with that, I will honor that for as long as I live. But this is not what this is telling you, so explain this to us. Yeah.
It is not a religious creed. It is a road safety creed.
Yeah.
The difference is.
But doesn't it mean that people have to commit to doing some things and not doing other things in the use of the road? This doesn't tell one that, or tell me what I'm missing.
What it says here, it is also believed that vibrant community councils will reward the vehicles in delivering good safety practices. These practices will also be passed on to corporate groups such as truck drivers, taxi group, and mass media. You know, what we're talking about is safety on the public road. That is what we're talking about. Now, if you write a creed about road safety, and you create a lot of religious belief in it, there is other people who don't believe in certain things. A fellow who's running a mosque, a guy who's running a temple, you cannot talk religious thing to him the way the Christian world will speak about it. You have to speak, in other words, that it is acceptable throughout the country. All break down all religious barrier.
What is acceptable?
What is acceptable? is
in terms of what this creed set out to do.
what is acceptable is to save life. That is acceptable. In other words then, we want to do something, yes, but we want to reduce the carnage. As we speak now, Andy, the carnage is too high. When I came back to Trinidad in 2004, the road deaths was 197 road deaths in this country. With them days, the population was probably 1.2 million. And you have 197 road deaths. That can tell you that something is missing. And that is what was missing. A road safety education program to fix the problem.
A road safety education program. What is the connection between that and the creed? The creed has to be part of that. And
yes. We have things like pedestrian safety. We have passenger safety. Right? We have for the cyclists. We have all these documents. So that you could get a copy of it. What you should do on the public road when you're a cyclist, when you're a driver, when you're a pedestrian. All these education supplies is available from us, from nation drivers. But nobody questioned it. Everybody questioned the insurance company now is saying, listen, everybody have to do a defensive driving course. Why are they saying that? Because the carnage is too high. What they are saying is that you give me $1,000 now, and tomorrow I have to pay out $1 million on you. And you go do that business? Watch it good. In certain parts of the United States, they have something called the responsibility law. We don't have no, they have the responsibility law. They have no insurance in certain parts of the states.
And that relates to people's usage of the road, the responsibility
Yeah,
law.
the responsibility law. You hit a man, Andy, you stand your own bounce. You think we could bring that here? We can't bring it here.
What is the difference?
The difference is this. You have to pay the man to fix his car, but to deal with his financial problems. That is what the responsibility law means. You have to do that. You think we could do that in this country? We must have insurance. And that's why the insurance company is saying, you give me $1,000 today, and tomorrow I have to pay out $1 million on you. The insurance companies know. That's why they tell you straight up, you must do a defensive driving course to get on that insurance policy. That is why they're telling you that. Because they recognize the loss ratio is too high. That is what's happening.
So you say that again? The insurance companies
It's
require
saying,
that...
yes, that you must do a defensive driving course because they recognize.
in order to get travel insurance, to use the roads?
Yeah, for your car, auto insurance. You must do a defensive driving course. They make it mandatory. The state didn't do it, but the insurance company is saying, the state is issuing the license to you, but we are paying the claims. That is what they're saying. And they realize that that loss ratio is too high.
So that's to get driving insurance?
Yes, auto policy, auto insurance.
Auto insurance?
Yes, that's what it is. So, in other words then, if you have a car and you have your son, he wants to drive your car because he has a license, and you go to the insurance company, you know what they're telling you? You have to put him on the insurance. And to get him on the insurance, he has to do a defensive driving course.
But I have insurance, and I've never done any
Okay,
defensive.
you have never done that. But
With an insurance company.
Yeah, it has changed now. That is what it is. And so...
As of when that became
that
mandatory, is it?
Yeah, this is about 6 months ago. They make it quite clear. You have to get that. And if you don't, and yes, he can drive, he has a license. But if he gets into an accident, Andy, you will get nothing because he's not on the policy. He's not a designated driver on the policy.
I was no way of that. I have insurance for my vehicle.
But you know it now, okay? You know it now. Once he is part of the family unit, your son...
But the insurance company has never pointed that out to me, that I'm taking risks because I don't have a
well, it is not telling you, Andy.
safety
No worries then. But go and tell them you want to put your son on the driver's policy. and hear what they will tell you. Older people,
well, what about the owner or driver of the vehicle, which is me?
you is the owner of the car. The insurance is on your name.
Yeah.
Your son living in your house.
Well, I'm not dealing with him at all, you know.
Well, all right. Well, if you're not dealing with him, and he's driving your car.
No, let's talk about with me driving the vehicle.
You driving it, you have insurance, correct?
Yeah, well, right.
But if he decides that he wants to use the car to go down the street to do shopping, and he's not on that insurance, and he gets into an accident, the insurance company will not pay a penny. That is what it is.
You put that to the test? Or is that,
But it's already there. It is already there. Young guys come. I do defensive driving courses. And young guys come and say, we have to do this. The insurance company say, Mr. Huggins, we have to go and get this program. That is what they're saying.
That is because somebody's driving a car that is not insured on their name.
Their name not on the policy, on the insurance policy. I know this might be something new to you, but this is what it is. This is what it is now.
All right, so let's talk about the set of beliefs that you say that people of our nation are a vulnerable group, that safety training will broaden safety awareness, instill safety values, and reduce potential fatalities. Let's talk about what safety training is.
Well, safety training is going and do a defensive driving course. Now, I teach a program. For the first hour, we teach road safety education. Because we didn't get it in primary school. The next hour, we do defensive driving, which is basically reading the road. That is what defensive driving is, reading that road. That is what defensive driving is. You teach it for 1 hour.
What does reading the road mean? Well, there's a difference, let's say 4 o'clock in the afternoon as opposed to 8 o'clock at night.
No. Reading the road means you're looking for things that can cause accidents, can distract you. Because if you drive in a car, a door could cause an accident. He runs across the street. A piece of paper could be flying in the air. And you lose distract, and you're looking at the paper, and you cause an accident. Always then, there's a lot of factors that causes it because of distractions. Now, distractions cause problems. Look at distractions. You know, sometimes you have women walking the street, and they're walking half naked, and you driving, and you see something new, you take a look. That is a distraction, causing accident. There's a lot of factors involved in it. That is what happens. So we bring that knowledge to our driving population. And most of the time when you see accidents happen, it is distractions. Most of the time. That is what it is.
A national road safety program is driven by a set of beliefs that the people of our nation are a vulnerable group, that safety training will broaden safety awareness, instill safety values, and reduce potential fatalities.
Yes.
Who should accept this?
The whole nation. The whole nation should accept this. Because this is what the problem is. That is the core of this whole program, this creed. Because in other words then, we have all these problems on the public roads every day. You've seen it every day. And you ask yourself the question, how these people get their driver's license? In certain parts of the world, you have to do a defensive driving first before they issue a license to you. What we do it back to front. We tell you, come to licensing office, get a driver's license, right? And then we say, okay, after a while, say, listen, you have to do a defensive driving course. We do it back to front. We put, in our words, we put the cat in front and tell the horse, walk behind. Do you think the cat could move? We didn't do it.
Who's responsible? Which organization or which unit in the government is responsible for treating with that, this defensive driving?
Okay, let's put it this way. We didn't, in Trinidad, we don't have a Department of Road Safety. If you go to Barbados, in Guyana, they have a Department of Road Safety. We don't have that in this country.
The Department of Road Safety.
Yes. So you have a problem, you could go to that department and get some information. And I keep saying every minute, what the government need to do is to appoint a director of road safety education and set up a road safety department to deal with our problems. We don't have it. You go in any parts of the world, they have a department. In Guyana, in the islands, St. Vincent, all these countries have a department of road safety, but we don't have it. Why? Because people are not looking down the road. And we've seen what the carnage do. We've seen what a road accident can cause. Some road accidents put families in poverty. Look at it from that angle. But we're not seeing that. That is why we have the problem.
But we have these agencies and organizations, private sector people who've gone out there, you know, Arrive Alive, and then there's another one. And
well, I'll tell you something. I don't like to condemn people, but I am saying, Andy, that road safety is not getting up in the morning and say, we go do this. You have to formally train in it. What he was doing in Trinidad here is shooting a movie, showing you something on TV, showing you a movie and taking your money. That is not education. You have to teach it now because we didn't get it done in primary school. You have to teach it like a school teacher, the program, and shoot a local DVD. Anytime you show me a DVD from the States, it has nothing to do with me. And some people was issuing a certificate for the left-hand side of the road because they download something on a flash drive from the National Safety Council in the United States. And they're giving you for the left-hand side of the road. What we're driving on, not on the right. So if the education is wrong, then the driving has to be wrong. That is what it is. And then they put on the certificate an expiry date, 3 years. So you give them $500 now to watch a movie. Now, between me and you, Andy, you think you give a movie, don't $500 to watch a movie? Watch it good. That is why we're in this mess.
you see again? So that cinema charges people $500 to watch.
If movie don't decide, this movie is $500 to watch. You will give movie don't $500 to watch a movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So why are you giving somebody to say, teaching road safety, shooting a movie to you, and giving them $500? Something wrong with we end. Look at it from that angle. Something like important than road safety, which is life and death. Watch it.
This is something that is happening.
But this is what it is. Yes, they're showing you a movie until it's online and all this nonsense.
And you have to pay $500 to see it.
To see it. That's what they're charging.
That is something that takes place
in
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes. That is what is going on.
And that is road safety awareness, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And,
so,
people do that, people participate in that.
Because they say, well, come here and watch a movie, you don't have to come in the classroom. But this is road safety education. You have to teach it like a school teacher to fix the problem. Because we didn't get it done in primary school. All we got...
And that facility, that arrangement is not delivering better road users.
You see the carnage, how escalated it is? Because the education is wrong.
So you mean there are people who probably pay this $500 to watch this film and still
watch a film,
operate without regard to what they may have been required to pick up?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah, they show you a movie, and it comes from the States. They download this on a flash drive and give it to you and say, open a driving school and shoot that and collect $500. That's what it is. And how we get to know that? Right? You have to go back and teach this program to fix the nation. Otherwise, you're in a mess. That is what it is.
That you shouldn't drive on the roads above a certain mileage power and stuff like that. You should not
No, well, when you do the program, when you do the program, you do all these things. You go through the creed. You talk about the pedestrian safety. The passage is a 10-point plan on that pedestrian safety. I have one now. If I show it to you, you will see the 10-point plan of the pedestrian safety. You have for the cyclist, the young rider who have his bicycle. He wants to ride, but you give him some guidance on how to function on the public road. What we see is that it cannot work if you don't go down to the basic of this problem and solve it. A lot of families, Andy, end up in poverty because of a road accident. But we only think about it when it comes by we doorstep. If it's not by we doorstep, we don't think about that because it didn't come by we.
Really?
Yes. We know what's anything happening in the family. So what are you worrying about? That's your neighbor business. That's how we think. That's the neighbor business.
So you're saying the only time we think about road safety is if it
come by we doorstep.
And getting the keys to a vehicle and driving does not create awareness about how we should use the roads.
You know, most people who never do a defensive driving course, they say, I'm driving for 50 years. Yes.
What are the elements, the constituent elements of a road safety program?
Well, in the first
safe
instance,
driving.
Yes, in the first instance, is to reduce the carnage and road deaths. A road death is only count when you die. If you died 5 days after, that is not considered a road death. That is what it is. But the proximate cause of that accident of that death is an accident.
Well, that's hard to believe. So you get in an accident today and you die on Friday. That doesn't count?
No.
Because you died because of an accident?
No, you have to die on spot. That is a road death. On spot.
You're kidding?
Yes. That is what that is about. And to fix it is simple. Let's go back to the school system and educate our youngsters on road safety.
So you want to be able to go into schools how do you get this into schools?
Well, I sent a copy of this to the Minister of Education. I sent one to the Minister of Transport. Right? I haven't heard anything about it yet. But I am saying...
They have not responded to you then?
No. But I think two schools called me and said this is something that we should implement in the school system. Two principals. They say, we should implement this in the school system.
But, okay, so what are we implementing when we say that we believe that a national road safety program is driven by a set of beliefs that the people of our nation are a vulnerable group, that safety training will broaden safety awareness, instill safety values, and reduce potential facilities. It's just if we take one of them, take these things one by one, a set of beliefs that the people of our nation are a vulnerable group.
That means to say, when you're vulnerable, what it means? You're exposed, that is what it means.
That's safety training will broaden safety awareness.
Yes. Why we use the word vulnerable? That the people of our nation are vulnerable because we didn't get the training.
And what is the training?
Road safety education. That is the training.
And what are the elements of that?
Well, we talk about the arrival of the ambulance. Yes. Because to call an ambulance is 811. But if you go on the road now and you ask a lot of drivers, what is the number to call an ambulance? They're giving you one set of foreign numbers because you're watching cable. They don't know what is the number to call an ambulance. If your car catching a fire on the main road, and you have to call the fire truck.
But before we get to the ambulance, what is the nature of the driving in the road that is deemed to be putting you in a place where you don't have to call an ambulance?
Okay.
What are the do's and don'ts?
Okay. Now, that's a whole topic by itself. I have the whole document. And I can't give you piece by piece. I have to give you the whole document on the pedestrian safety and the passenger safety and the pedestrian safety and all these documents. When you go through that, then you will pick up what it means to be a good road user. That is what it is.
But there must be some elements that
yeah, I have something there.
Yeah.
I could, if you want me to show it to you, I can show you.
Well, I mean, but I suppose you should know sort of the major points in that as to what
I have it.
What
I
should
can't
be done.
Everything.
Yeah,
I have it right here.
What we should do and what we shouldn't do when we behind the wheel in the car.
In the first instance, we should not cross on the green light.
Right.
That's number one. Because, you know something, when you go in town for the Spain and you have dogs, you see dogs, when they want to cross, they look at the light. And the light is green. What is it? Not wag the tail and sit down and wait until the light changes.
I've never noticed that. So you say a dog knows how to look at traffic lights?
Yeah, they look at it and they see.
That's for real?
Yeah, and they spin around walls St. James all in Arima one. You know, a dog want to cross on the street. You just hardly see dogs getting bounced now. You know why? Because they're reading the traffic light. Go and see for yourself. We as human beings who have license, who could read and write, crossing on the green light. The dog has no education, but the dog see that, so he ain't going there. That is what it is. So are we smarter than a dog, Andy? I'm asking the question. Oh, a dog smarter than you? Ask yourself the question. Most people will say, yes, I'm smarter than a dog. Because when
isn't the situation, the reality that some of us decide to dispense with paying attention to that? It's not that we don't know. We just refuse to pay attention to it.
Because it's not instilled in us.
It's what?
Instilled in us. So there's a lot of stuff in our lives that is habitual. You know, I accustomed crossing on the light. I don't know, who's you to tell me don't cross on the light? You know, it is habitual.
Well, what else has to happen for it to be instilled in us?
Well, that is why the training is important.
Training?
Yes. That is why I use the expression that safety training will broaden safety awareness and instill safety values and reduce potential fatalities.
So there should be some kind of a document that somebody has to fill out and say, well, I did this, I did this, I did this, before you get a driver's permit?
Well, what it is, to open a driving school in this country, Andy, all you have to have a license is for 3 years to open a driving school. You know any teacher that not trained? Between me and you. Most teachers in school train, have some kind of teacher's diploma. How you could make a law that to open a driving school, you just have to have a license for 3 years. Who could do that? It sounds like a madhouse.
So that's all that is required to
open
a driving school?
Yes. And so all that has to be changed.
You're driving for 3 years and you can open a driving school.
You can open a driving school.
And you think that should not be allowed? That is
no,
wrong?
You must have some. If you go and see a driving school instructors in foreign countries, like in Canada and whatnot, they're well dressed, they're well positioned, they're trained to be a driving school instructor. We don't have that here. What we have, you have your license for 3 years, open a driving school.
If you wish.
Yes, you can do that. That is where we are.
It is also believed that community councils will be worthy vehicles in delivering good safety practices. Well, and the community councils have to have people who are doing what you say the majority of us not doing. And
okay. The community council means that is bringing it down to the community.
Yeah.
And in every county, in my mind, should have a road safety community council. In every council, every county. And so that they will run programs, like probably twice a week or once a month, or whatever it is, to train youngsters in the area on effective road safety. So that is why you're doing. You break it down to the councils, the community. That should reach the nook and cranny of the country. And you set up community road safety councils. That is what you do. And all these things, these practices will also be passed on to corporate groups, such as truck drivers, taxi groups, and mass media. So that, you know, the message is out there.
But this is voluntary, so no, people aren't compelled to do this.
This is where the state comes in. The state should assist this program in breaking it down to the community. This is where the state comes in, the Ministry of Transport. This is where it's coming from. And say we're going to set up some community councils in Caroni, we're going to set up one in St. George's or something like that. So you have somewhere to go. No, that is why I made the point to you. That is setting up the community road safety councils. That's why I make the point. Let us appoint a director of road safety education for the country.
A director of road safety education,
yes,
in Trinidad and Tobago.
In Trinidad and Tobago. So that you're filtering it down. You have an authority. You have a department of road safety to filter this thing down to the general public.
What is the closest to that we have here, that people are required to not drive, not to be found driving over a certain, what is it, 100 kilometers an hour, and your vehicle itself should meet certain kinds of performance standards? And
well, we have people like the traffic wardens, which is, in my mind, is a traffic police all over the world. And I don't see them really. When you see them, most of them on the phone, correct? And they're talking. They're not worrying with the traffic. They're not dealing with that. All these things, all these traffic police on the public road, we have it.
yeah.
But what are we doing to let them make sure that they are doing the right thing? We don't know. You see it every day. You drive every day. You see traffic wardens on the road. Most of them just stand and watching. Traffic in a mess, they're not even paying it no mind. Okay?
Watching the lights and ensuring that people don't cross.
All these different things. They're not worrying with you. If you kill yourself, that is your business. It will come by my doorstep. And that is how you look at it.
You don't think you're being a little too harsh on traffic wardens? I mean,
no, what I'm saying is that you have to train them because they are traffic police. When a policeman come out of the barracks, don't you train him?
So how does one get to be a traffic warden then?
Well, apply and you might find favor. They say put on a cap, put on a uniform and hit the street. I don't know what's the training. I really don't know. But they are traffic police all over the world. If you go in the States and you see a traffic warden and he blow that whistle and you don't move, you throw the ticket book behind you. That is what he will do.
And that doesn't happen here.
No, that don't happen here. Okay? That is what we say. So we could fix it if we only take time and do the right thing, put the mechanism in place to fix the problem. Because road safety is a serious topic in this part of the world. It is a serious problem. Everybody asking the $1 million question, how you could have 197 road deaths in 1 year? Come on. Think about it.
And you're saying that some of the organizations that establish themselves to promote safe and better driving, not doing what they should be doing, they don't have it down.
They're not properly trained to teach a program. That is the problem. That is what it is. That's where we are.
And we move from, how does this help us move from there?
Well,
it is believed that vibrant community councils will be worthy vehicles in delivering good safety practices. Let's talk about
set up the councils. Set up the councils, Andy. It has to be set up. In other words, if you have the organization,
whose job it is to do that?
The Ministry of Transport.
To set up a road safety council, or that a community council must have a road safety element in it.
Yes, And that's why I said to you, we need a Department of Road Safety in the country. We don't have it.
A Department of Road Safety?
Yes.
And it'll have to come under some ministry. Which ministry will come? Transport.
Transport. That is what you're setting up.
And then that Department of Road Safety will have a certain set of do's and don'ts?
Yes. And you set up the rules, you set up this, you set up that, and you have a team. That's the road safety team. And you move with that. And you will see the difference, because people need direction. That is what it is.
And let me just read this thing over. A national road safety program is driven by a set of beliefs that the people of our nation are a vulnerable group, that safety training will broaden safety awareness, instill safety values, and reduce potential fatalities. So we're talking about safety training, right?
Yes. That is what it is.
And again, what are some of the major elements of safety training? So anybody behind a vehicle, behind a steering wheel, ought to have had safety training. And that should be required for the issuance of a driver's permit for such a person.
Yes. And before you go to licensing office to do the practical, do something on the theory.
Do something?
Do the theory then, which is the classroom work, to get your license.
How are you working to get this in the hands and in the heads of the people who should have it and who should pursue doing this?
Okay.
That's the
Let's assume I'm a minister and somebody send me something like this. You don't think I go take a look at it? And let's see how we could fix this.
The Ministry of Transport?
Yes. I should take a look at this and say, this looks like it's making sense, you know. And let's set up a structure, how to deal with this, how to fix it. But if I am not paying it no mind, okay, it can't go forward.
And to whom have you reached out?
Well, I send one to the Minister of Transport, I send one to the Prime Minister, I send one of this to the President of the Senate, I send it to them, I give them it. So let us deal with this. Some of the schools I went to, I gave them a copy of the road safety grade. I said, let's deal with it. Let's see if you will get a copy in every school book bag in this country.
And what's been the response thus far?
Well, I ain't get no big set of response. I just get calls and what is this about? Because they are asking the same questions. What is this grade about? Because they never hear something like that before. This is new to the country, right? But because I study in the States, in the United States, I was exposed to this. And that is why I could bring it down in this part of the world. You talk to a lot of people, what is a creed? I thought a creed was something in the Anglican Church or the Catholic Church. You just hear that talk, okay? But they never hear about a road safety creed.
Because to me, you are created, you commit yourself to a certain set of values.
Yes.
On what the issue is.
Yes. So what we talk about, right? This is not about religious. This is about safety on our public roads. You see, we have something called OSHA in Trinidad. Nobody hear about OSHA, but OSHA is what? If you fall off a job, you're off the ladder or something like that. That is what OSHA means.
Well, it means operating with a set of principles and a set of do's and don'ts that falling off a ladder will happen. And, you know.
But since you hear people in accidents, I say, well, I ain't hear nobody fall off a ladder, you know. But I know every day accidents happening. Every day is accidents.
And it's not because people refuse to accept what is safe driving and what is not?
Well, as I said before, to fix a nation, you have to go back to the primary school. It was, all we were taught is arithmetic, geography, this and that in primary school. We were never taught safety.
So safe driving ought to be on the curriculum in primary school?
Yes. In the United States, when you're in grade 5, they start to teach you road safety education.
Really?
Yes. Because they know they have something called driver ed program. You get your license through the school system. They call it driver ed program. That is what they call it.
In the United States?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. They call it driver
So
ed
you
program.
learn safe driving in primary school?
Yes. You know what was that? When you into, let's say, grade 10 in the high school, the instructors and then come down and deal with it, but they teach you road safety from grade 5 when you get into school. They start to talk about safety. But we don't do that here. We wait until they reach 18 years and say, go along to a licensing office and get a driver's license. That is what we do. So we don't fix it from the bottom. We need to fix it from the bottom to solve this problem.
Where does the sense of awareness start for that to begin to happen?
Well, it starts from the Ministry of Education.
The Ministry of Education?
Yes, they are the ones to institute the thing.
And you have been working across administrations
Yes.
to get some of these things instilled
Yeah. But we're not
institutionally, but it's not happening.
No, we're not thinking about that. When we see a big accident, we say, oh God, them fellas don't know how to drive. That's what the expression we use. They may know how to drive.
Yeah. And you also question the basis on which you have other private organizations, such as Arrive Alive, doing stuff, creating greater awareness about safe driving.
Yeah, as I said before,
you question the methods?
Yeah, what it is that this thing is not about money, Andy, okay? This is about safety. That is what it is.
Well, and what you're saying is an organization such as
Arrive
Alive is about money?
Well, let's put it this way. The government, what they do, when they bring the point system in the country, they hire this Arrive Alive to say, do rehab training in driving, right? But if you never teach road safety education, how could you teach rehab?
Well, how do you know that the people who operate an organization such as that don't know about road safety?
No, they show you a movie, download from Canada.
Well, that's not all there, say. Maybe that is part of what they do, what they expose people to.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that most guys I know when they had to do the rehab to get back their driver's license, rehab training. Mr. Hogan, this thing is just...
rehab training is not...
This is not rehab.
It's not worth its weight in salt.
No, it doesn't worth its salt. Put it that way. And that is what happens there. And you see, that was going on, rehab training, and the accidents still continue.
Well, maybe it could have been worse.
Well, you never know. But it ain't working. Because look at the state of our situation. Yes, I know we have potholes in the country. And only when I was growing up as a boy, they said Trinidad is the land of the hummingbird. You ever heard that before?
The what?
The land of the hummingbird.
Yeah.
But I ain't seen a hummingbird in a long time, Andy. What I've seen is potholes. So Trinidad right now is the land of the potholes. That is my feeling. Okay? Watch it good. And the land of the potholes. Everywhere you turn, you're seeing potholes. That is what it is. That is the infrastructure part of road safety. Okay?
But in a lot of cases, these accidents don't happen. Potholes are what you find in local roads from here to there and so on. But on the major roadways from Port of Spain to San Fernando, from San Fernando to Point Fortin, you don't find
but let me ask you something.
Accident-inducing condition.
Let me ask you something. Right? You don't think potholes just mash up people's cars? You don't believe so?
Well, if you continue to go into potholes,
but
yes.
if you can't get away, sometimes you might try to get away from a pothole, but you make an accident. So it's better you go through the pothole. That is what it is. We are the land of the potholes, Andy.
But there are no potholes from Port of Spain to San Fernando, and there are a lot of accidents that take place for one reason.
Yeah, well, yes, they do. But we need to fix our potholes. You know, so we get a better ride from the car. It is not good. And I am saying this is the problem. We have other factors that causes the accident. Yes, but we can fix it. It can be fixed, Andy, if we only do what we have to do.
In a lot of cases, it's people driving, having been under the influence or being angry about something and trying to take it out on the speedometer and so on.
The DUI is a thing I talks about, that DUI. Once you over 35 micrograms of alcohol breath, and the police test you, they will charge you for DUI. No, not DUI, no. Yes.
Well, you say me, but they should.
Yeah. That DUI, no, Andy, that is jail time. You listen to me?
Yeah.
First time they catch you, it was 15,000, now it's 30,000. They double the fine. And if you don't pay it, it's 3 years in jail. That is jail time, you know.
Yeah.
That is jail time. Second time is 5 years in prison and 45,000 because they double the fine. I am saying you have a lot of youngsters who really don't know nothing about the law, and they're driving. They might take up 2 beers and then they know the dangers. You think a young boy who goes to school, where he getting $30,000 to get the state? I don't know where he getting it.
No, but you question the fact that people like that, in fact, have in their possession a driver's permit.
Yes, you're driving the car, but you're under the influence. That is what you're doing. And that is jail time now, Andy.
How are these things spotted such that somebody, as much as you pass the driving test, should be issued a driver's permit?
Well, let them go and do a good defensive driving course, so they have knowledge on the DUI and all these different things. So that if they make a mistake then you can say, well, I will punish you because you did something wrong. But most of these youngsters, they don't know about the DUI. They're talking all these different things, but they don't know about the DUI. That is jail time. That is what that is. To solve it, to fix it, let us educate before we punish. That's my feeling. Let us educate. If I'm a school teacher and I don't show you the arithmetic, you think I could punish you if you get it wrong? Something
so what are you
wrong with my
advocating?
head.
How does this end up as a part of a program in schools? You
How
said
it
you
end
give
up-
one of this to the Minister of Education.
Yes, I give him, and you know, they're not studying this. You follow what I'm saying? And it's when they lost the youngsters, then they study it. Then we do something. Because we don't have much people to teach the program. That's the problem. The problem is, I write a study in 2003 for this government, for the PNM government. They're not studying road safety. That is his business. It didn't come by my doorstep. That is how we think. All the way.
And what keeps you going and trying to do what you see is required to be done to make for better usage of the roads, better knowledge of safe driving, and responsible driving?
What keeps me going, Andy? Because I am trained. This is my profession. And it keeps me going because I believe that nobody is walking the road I am walking with this problem.
Nobody is walking the road. I didn't get you what you said after
It's
that.
not walking the road as I am walking to get this thing done. So that's what keeps me going. I have a school, I teach the program, right? So we can say what we want, but the fact remains, somebody has to champion the cause to get this thing moving.
And you are putting your, I was going to say your life on the line, but you're putting
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to believe in something, Andy. Because a lot of people don't believe in nothing. Didn't you know that? But you have to believe in something. And if you don't believe in something, what good you living for? But believe in something.
And that's what keeps you, right?
Yes.
You expect to hear back from the ministry, from the Minister of Education and stuff?
Andy, I don't know. If I had an answer, I would have responded to you. But I don't know. Put it this way. I do my part.
You're saying you do your part, but it's not possible that you would come, you would see something
Well, I look
again
on
that needs pointing out and that you would not rest.
I look on the bright side of life. I don't look on the dull side. Right? And I always believe that tomorrow will be better. That is how I think. I look at it that way. And I look on the bright side of life. I hope that them fellas will wake up and recognize that we are in a mess. In a mess.
Stand against, what do you call it? The Nation Drivers Company Limited.
Yes.
Stand against.
Yes. That is what it is.
I admire your tenacity. And I think people in Trinidad will do that as well.
Yes.
Well, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
WESN.
Fan Zone, your reliable, authentic supplier